Guys. So in 2015, my father was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And I'm sharing this story because I recently shared a message in which I said, don't focus on just one chapter of your life, especially what you consider a bad or negative season, and don't make that the whole focus of your life, because your life is so much more. Focus on the whole story and not just this one thing. I'm going to put a spin on that topic, and for today we're going to talk about that thing that you consider to be bad or a bad chapter in your life could just be the thing that is setting you up for something better in the future. So back to the story. So in 2015, my father was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I know my dad was not like the healthiest or fittest person in the world, but initially we were like, what is this? Because if you don't manage your diabetes properly, it could potentially lead to death, right? Or to just reduce quality of life. But anyway, we changed his diet. He was eating great, changes, physical activities and everything. And for a few years, his diabetes was managed or controlled by just his diet and lifestyle. And we were like, great. Over the years, things have changed, and he's had to, lifestyle change again, diet change, work schedule, everything, all of that incorporated. And sometimes we just kind of drop off a form, but now he's on medication for his diabetes, right? Fast forward to 2023, Dad started to have some symptoms. He was in a lot of pain, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong. And so over the course of a couple of months, he was in and out of hospital. They were running different tests. They would think it's this, and then they were like, no, it's not that. And then they think it's something else, and then there's no, it's not that. And he's on like a ton of medication, and things are changing, and you're like, he's having a lot of symptoms in addition to the pain, and we couldn't really figure out what was wrong. So in the end, they found out after months in and out of the hospital, they found out what was wrong. They got a diagnosis, and they said there are two types of medication that he could take, this one or that one. We picked one, we took him home, and he's on his medication. And less than a week after I took him home, my father almost died. The medication that he was on was really messing with his system. He couldn't keep any food down. So, of course, if you have diabetes and you're not eating, then that can cause your blood sugar level to drop really low. And his dropped really low, and he went into a diabetic coma and became unresponsive, right? Because of that, he was readmitted to the hospital again after months of being in and out of the hospital. So he was readmitted to the hospital, and this time they reevaluated his entire case, and they said, you know what, this medication that he was on, number one, it's really not helping, what's going on within his system. Two, it's messing with his diet, it's affecting his diabetes, and this is a life and death situation, and we have to put him on the other medication instead. It's going to be X number of weeks, and this is how we're going to do it. And we had this new plan, and now today I can say, thank God, Dad is doing so much better, right? So I want to pause there, and I want to go back to 2015 when he got that diagnosis. As with any person who has ever gotten any medical diagnosis that could be life altering or even could lead to death, you're saying to yourself, why this, why me, why no, just why in general, right? Nobody wants to get that kind of diagnosis ever for any particular disease or condition, right? But this diabetes was what led him to go into a diabetic coma, that led him to be readmitted so that his case could be reevaluated and he could get on the right medication that saved his life. So I'm just going to take a moment, and I'm going to say to all of my Christians and my non-Christians who know the Bible, and that scripture that says all things will work together for good for those who love the Lord. All things can work together for good? You mean this diabetes situation I got going on can work together for good? Yes. You mean this broken relationship that I have, God can work it together for good? Yes. You mean this no money in my bank account, God can work it together for good? Yes. You mean I just lost my job, but God can work that together for good? Yes. God can work all things together for good to those that love him and are called according to his purpose. And I just want you to be encouraged today. That chapter that you're thinking is a bad chapter and it's wrong, this is bad, and yes, you're a human and you feel that way. But can you just think about the God that you serve and how he has never lied, how he has never failed, how he has come through for you time and time again? I know that what we see in front of us can sometimes become overwhelming, and then it becomes hard to think about the possibility of the good or the possibility of what can come. That's what the Bible said, right? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This is a faith journey when you choose to become a child of God, right? When you choose to live as a Christian. Meaning that you're living based on what you believe and not necessarily what you see. And I know when you see the bank account not looking right, but they say all things are gonna work together for good, you're like, what? When these relationships are breaking up and they say all things are gonna work together for good, what you're seeing right now looks overwhelming. The bad things, the challenges, the negative things, and that's what we're calling them. But God has strategically chosen your path the way that it is to build you into the person that He needs you to be, so that you can have a testimony that leads someone else to Christ. He's not putting you through these things to harm you, to destroy you, to kill you, in everything, He's working it out for your good. He's going to get the glory, and the goal is to bring someone else to Christ. Be encouraged. All is not lost. And this chapter, whatever it looks like, is not the end, and it's not to destroy you, but to set you up for something better. He got a diabetic diagnosis. It could have been the end, but that same diagnosis led him to this time. What are we now? 8 years later, that same diagnosis, that same condition that he has, was what caused him to be in the hospital, so that they could find out what was wrong with him and what needed to be done. In the bigger picture, with the bigger condition or the bigger sickness that he had going on that needed to be treated, or he would have lost his life. Do not get hung up on one chapter, and do not think a negative thing or a bad thing is here to take you out. It's going to build you. It's going to be a part of what leads to a better future. It's gonna, you're gonna see it work through, but you have to believe. Trust God. Remember the God you serve. Remember how many times He's come through for you. Like the song says, I don't know what He's doing, but I know what He has done. Trust what you know, and don't just focus on what you see, and don't focus only on today. I hope that you're encouraged. I hope that you have